All right, so we saw gold absolutely smash it again yesterday, 3.5% closed at high of day. So far today, we're just sort of going sideways. Wouldn't be surprised if it just closes sideways. I don't know, a bit of a doji. It needs to come down a bit. I don't know if it can retest all the way back down to 3,250, all the way back down to 3,050. Can you imagine you say that way? It might come down a little bit, but this is just, I've said it all the time, runaway train. The hardest thing to do is to buy the dip almost because it just doesn't dip enough and it goes off and you should be scared to chase it because this is, sometimes you zoom out, what is that as a chart? That's just one of those Chinese stock, pump and dump, Nvidia crypto coin. No, it's gold. It's the global gold market. Crazy. So amazing day, silver. And this is what I've always been saying, silver and silver stocks, especially, which way do they go? Do they follow the markets? Do they follow gold? Yesterday, silver followed gold. Look at that. Nice pump into light resistance, 33. Kind of old support, not really strong support, but big number. So far today, also going sideways, hit its high of 33. So 33 is something of resistance. Next stop is 34. Wow, that's hard. And then 34, 50, and 35. This is the big zone, the big 52-week high. You break that, runaway train number two. So silver, it was nice to see it go up because the markets yesterday were down, right? So it was nice to see silver go up with gold rather than down with the markets. And the markets were down like 2.5, 3% at one point. Some big stocks, Nvidia, AMD, down 10% with this new, whatever it's called, the chip tariff escalation. So you've got to be happy because it was a green day for me yesterday, right? For you guys probably too. A green day with the markets down 3%. That's amazing. However, I'm still a little silver stocks, they're not. Let's go down and check. Let's check the miners straight away, actually. So GDXJ, amazing. Hit 66, by the way, perfectly on resistance. Zoom out. That's obvious resistance. That's post-COVID resistance. So we hit it, closed, well, we still gapped up. Decent day. Remember, the S&P's down. GDXJ should be down like 4% normally when the S&P's down 2.5 or something. And silver was not exactly up much. So you got to take that. That's nice. 3.5%, pretty good. GDX, obviously, oh, sorry, GDX and GDXJ, they've been following each other perfectly. Um, I guess it's because GDXJ has a lot of gold stocks in them, even though they're mid tiers. But yeah, the silver stocks we'll check out soon. But look at that, another gap, and okay, it didn't close a high up day, but just like GDXJ, for me, 54 point. This zone here, sorry, this zone over here is your resistance 54. Okay, couldn't get there all the way in one go, but that's fair enough. Silver, that's also, yeah, it went up, but closed below resistance. Fair enough, understandable. For that to go all the way up here, how much more of a percentage move is that now from the close? Yeah, 15% or so. Do we need the markets to go up for that? Or do we just need silver to finally squeeze and catch up with gold? But for that, do you need the markets for that? There's still that. I feel like if you're in gold and gold stocks, you're good. Well, you are good. But silver, and I've got, I don't know, 30% of my miners are in silver mid tiers. For that to go up, I don't know. I'm holding, I'm happy, and I've trimmed a lot, right? Yesterday, I didn't trim anything. I need them to go down to buy back in. Maybe we get a little gap fill here. If the markets come down, maybe, well, silver stocks, I think, will come down, especially if you've got a retracement in gold. Imagine you have gold retracing a little bit, or maybe something happens and it retraces all the way back down to 3,150, which is nothing. What an amazing price that is. Silver would get crushed, right? If gold goes down with the markets, silver will get crushed, and silver stocks also just temporarily crush, and that's when I hope to buy back in. But lots of support and non-stop bull chart pattern for gold doesn't it almost doesn't matter what happens. But yeah, the silver stocks at that point would come down and probably gap fill. That's what I'm looking forward to. Gold miners would come down a little bit too. If I look at the portfolio real quick, Newmont, I mean, we've almost gone all the way back up to 59, and we were all the way down here, 37. That's really cool. But yeah, it closed there up a little bit, 2.5%. That's nice when Nvidia's down 10%, closed just below resistance. This is obviously your absolute resistance, Barrick Gold. Also almost touched, pretty much touched right? This zone 21, it went above 21. So there you are at your 52-week resistance. Not bad. That's also come down from really low prices. It was struggling for a while. Agnico Eagle, don't need to talk about that. That's just constantly going up. Bit low, a bit weaker than I expected. I think that's getting a bit exhausted, like gold. Where do you buy that if it comes down? Well, 118th. No, yeah, 110, 111. If it even goes down there ever. Incredible. Pan American Silver, obviously silver's a bit weaker, but still that's made 52-week highs because it's a beast and quite a big gold miner too. But that's pretty much my favorite silver miner, despite it not being a real silver miner. So that's nice to see. That'll keep going up. 29 and 30, those are your next levels. Wheaton, just like Agnico, new all-time highs, getting a bit weak, just a bit exhausted. And, it's exhausted before gold's exhausted. Obviously, the market dropping doesn't help it. It's not like the GDX goes up inversely to the S&P going down. It's following gold, but the market's still dragging it a little bit, which is why silver stocks that are following silver and silver's a lot weaker, they're always suffering a bit. Let's look at Franco-Nevada. That's also made a new 52,000 year high. That's made new all-time highs. Finally, I remember it all the way down here. I was in it all the way here, and finally, I was looking forward to this day. It was hard to imagine, but there you go. New all-time highs. Didn't close as low as the others, relatively speaking, so that's real strong. Next stop, 180, right? 190, 200. Metalla, the weakest of all the streamers. I hate this one. Can I say that? It did actually close. At least it was green. Next up here, just below 340. For that to happen, you need gold to make another 3% move, and I just don't see that happening. So this one will probably come back down, probably below three. That'll be annoying to see that two handle on Metalla, but I'm used to it being pretty crap. Now, silver stocks. So those stocks are all good except Metalla. Silver stocks. Yeah, it wasn't a red day, but unchanged here. It's sort of breaking out. It's descending. But for silver, for First Majestic to go all the way to 750, you need silver to pump, and for silver to pump, you need gold to go even higher than it already has. Don't see that happening. Also being dragged down by the general markets. I see the markets coming lower, and the markets could revisit their old lows of the tariff, 1 or 2 weeks ago, or whatever, and even go lower. And honestly, First Majestic would probably just come back down to six, who knows, below six. I would welcome that because I've trimmed them all. In fact, I trimmed them sort of here, a decent amount, and a little bit more over here, relatively speaking. So I'd like to buy back even below my sales. I could do it. So I'm kind of I'm positioned heavy on the sidelines, but I'm really not selling any more miners since at least 1 or 2 days. Fortuna also sideways at its 52-week highs. I mean, that's pretty good for a silver stock, but it's struggling. Fortuna's outperforming a lot recently. CDE, that's nice to see it break out of it's descending a bit like First Majestic. That was a green day, for it to get all the way up here, 680. Again, you need gold and silver to run. Can you see silver running with gold being a bit tired? It happens, but I don't see it. And I do see the markets coming down today and taking quite a bit with them. Heckler, that's nice to see. Broke out the descending, touched this. This is perfect technicals, if I can say so. Quite a few of them actually are touching the levels perfectly. 620, and then back down here, retest. Yeah, we needed to go up. Next level, 640. Again, what's it going to take for that? That next level up in all these silver stocks. I don't think we're going to do it. Not even this week. EXK also struggling sideways. That will come back down if we have a market or a silver drop. Mag Silver, that's done pretty good given the bad news here. Bounced strong. Pre-market was, I think, almost touching 17. I had good till cancels here, here, and here. I don't know if one of them would have hit, but I didn't have pre-market. But anyway, this one, will come down with the markets and silver. Otherwise, this one I still want to trim a bit. I feel like it should be weaker than the other ones given the recent bad news. But anyway, otherwise it sort of behaved the same way as the others. That's the silver stocks. Now the sort of more miscellaneous gold stocks. Aris Mining's just been amazing. Up it goes into this vacuum. That one also pre-market showed some strange numbers. I didn't have pre-market sales in. That was like just below six pre-market, but maybe we retest 520 and go back up in the medium term. I just see all of them coming down a bit. I am gold though, had a bit of a standout day, up 10% at one point, maybe even more. I think it was news. I don't even know. Probably some news there. But next stop, just under nine. You can see that here before the big move up to above 10. That was a really good day actually for iron gold. So this now, the levels to buy, the old resistance, maybe even the gap at 750. But if we have a big surprising bad day, it could go lower. Absolute buy is now 650, which used to be resistance not so long ago. B2 gold also touched its 350. Finally, the high of the last 52 weeks, more than 52 weeks. Took out its descending long ago. So now we need to close above 350 and then we can start running to high threes where we've never been for a long, long time. So that was nice to see. Touched it and came back down. Yeah, this is not resistance. That's not support. All right. Equinox, another one that made a new high. So you can see the sort of gold stocks, all of them, whether they're senior or sort of mid tiers, although Equinox now is probably a senior, making new highs. It's just wonderful to see, right? Nvidia down 10%, S&P, Nasdaq down 3%. Gold stocks should be down 3 or 4%, but we're up 3 or 4% in some cases. So that's nice. Next stop, 750. Support, yeah, probably here. This is no longer resistance. Very nicely. SBSW finally, not really a gold or silver stock, but amazing day, a bit like I am gold. This one just gap and run. Didn't close a higher day. Next stop 520. Support, hard to tell. Probably here. But this one moves a lot. If it goes down, it goes down a lot. If it goes up, it goes up a lot. So there you go. For me, honestly, gold's had a crazy pump. We say it every day. New high. I don't even think it can come back down to 3250. But a little move down will take silver down because it's extra sensitive. And silver could come down a bit more, especially if the market goes down. And then silver stocks, especially with the markets, they could come down. Look, as SILJ, where do we go with SILJ? We could end up sort of in this zone here. And let's move it up. We could end up coming here if there's like two bad days. Like today would take us down here, mid low 12s, and another day, who knows, even gap zone. And then you can buy your silver stocks. Well, I can buy my silver stocks maybe even below where I trimmed them. But yeah, if silver and markets come down, it almost doesn't matter what gold does. Anyway, something to consider. So good luck. Let's see what happens, and good luck to silver.